out of 10 players starting a game, on average, only 2 will finish it. So that's 20% completion. It's very low. There are multiple factors explaining that. Sometimes it's game duration. Some games are 300 hours long, and that's very few people can actually finish that. Some games are too difficult. Some games are boring. But what's interesting is that when you compare that number to the completion rate of narrative games, you reach 60 to 70%. That's 3 times higher. So, hi, I'm Caroline Marchal. I'm the course director of Story for Video Games. I have a background in game design, and I worked on narrative games like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. And I'm here with John Yorke.
Hi, yes. So my background is in storytelling, largely in television, occasionally in cinema. We've come together to pool our knowledge to try and look at, in more detail, I think, than ever before, how storytelling works within gaming and how it can benefit you in developing and writing better and more exciting games. So I guess the first question is from me to you, isn't it? And it's really, do games need story?
Well, that's an interesting question and a hot topic on the internet and everywhere in the industry. I guess it depends on you could argue that games like The Last of Us rely heavily on story, whereas Tetris story is very much in the background or non-existing. What I'd say to that is it depends on the game genre, of course, but what story can bring at its bare minimum is context and meaning for your players. So it's there to enhance the experience and improve the experience. And at least with the techniques we're going to go through with this course, you're going to learn how to pace your game better and how to hook the audience with your game.
Yeah, so it's all about creating a much more emotional relationship between player and game, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Because one of the things that struck me when we first started doing this was just how high how low the completion rate was for gameplay.
Yes, it's that out of 10 players starting a game, on average, only 2 will finish it. So that's 20% completion. It's very low. There are multiple factors explaining that. Sometimes it's game duration. Some games are 300 hours long, and that's very few people can actually finish that. Some games are too difficult. Some games are boring. But what's interesting is that when you compare that number to the completion rate of narrative games, you reach 60 to 70%. That's 3 times higher. So again, there are multiple explanations to that. Narrative games are most of the time shorter, but also, and most importantly, they feature story heavily. So players keep playing because they want to know what's going to happen next.
Exactly. Which sort of is really the point why we're doing this, is like the better the story, the better the storytelling, and the better the understanding of how storytelling applies to games, the more compelling the game will be.
Yes. Totally.
And I guess that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish in the course, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It's
increase your chances to really craft a memorable experience that goes through gameplay, but also via story.